at this biologos concept on nervous coordination. But meanwhile, the summary and the whole analysis of nervous coordination is what we're going to be broken down in this class. Now, we're looking at the first thing is, what is the meaning of nervous coordination? Now, for you to understand that, you must understand there is a concept known as stimuli or stimulus. Now, this stimulus is received from the environment. The stimulus is received from the environment in the sense that if you are touched by somebody, the touch is what they call stimulus or stimuli. Like for instance, I touch you. Are you feeling anything? Okay, you felt something. Now, what you felt is called irritability. What is it called?
Irritability.
Irritability or sensitivity. Now, it is felt by the stimulus of the touch I give to her. Now, meanwhile, this stimulus will be carried by the receptors. Now, what do we call it now?
Receptors.
Receptors. So, the receptors carries the stimulus to the effectors gland. We call it effectors. Effector cells, not gland now, because the effector cells can be, number one, it can be muscles, it can be glands, and it can be immunes. So the receptor and the effector cells could be muscles. Let me do that again. Let me touch you again so you're going to feel what I want you to feel. You feel something? So that is felt at the muscle layer. Are you with me? Now, but if it's at the gland, you know, I've talked to you about the endocrine system. Now, if you look at the endocrine system, we're talking about the gland. Now, we have the adrenal gland, for instance. The adrenal gland is a gland that secretes adrenaline. And adrenaline is known as emergency hormone. Let's take, for instance, there's a fire outbreak in this hall now. When the fire outbreak comes up, it's in the environment. Now, you notice I told all of you that the environment is what secretes the stimuli. Are you still there? Now, that environment, when the fire breaks out now, all of us will run out of this place because the adrenaline will secrete an hormone. The adrenal gland will secrete an hormone known as adrenaline, and that will make us to respond to the stimuli of the fire outbreak. Then we all run out of the class. Meanwhile, there are two major coordination systems in human. We have the endocrinal gland, and the nervous system. So this is the two. You know, when I told you about the plants, I told you that plants has what they call growth substance. But meanwhile, some textbook calls it growth hormone. Growth substance, growth hormone. We're still talking about the same thing. But I prefer calling it growth hormone because it is the basic primarily name which is being allocated to it. So plants has what they call growth hormones. So this is for plants, growth hormones or growth substances. Because you know hormone is a substance, a biochemical substance anyhow. Now, meanwhile, but the human, we are privileged enough to have two of those. We have the endocrinal glands, which is the hormones, generally. And then we have the nervous system, which is what we'll be looking at today, known as nervous coordination. So definition, one, nervous systems are a group of highly specialized cells. If you're writing, nervous systems are a group of what? Highly specialized cells that performs the following functions. Nervous systems are a group of highly specialized cells that perform the following functions. Function number one. The function number one is that it receives stimuli or stimulus. Number one, have you written that? it receives stimuli in the medical school. When you see a medical doctor writing, you know the way the handwriting is. So just let's continue. Get what I say. It receives
Similar.
It receives
Stimuli.
All right. Number 2. Now, the stimuli is carried in the receptor. Now, pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention now. At the nervous system, the stimuli is carried where? In the receptor. All right. But in the endocrinal gland, here, the stimuli is carried in forms of hormones in the blood. Anywhere? In the blood. But in the nervous system, the stimuli is carried in the receptor. Are you still there now? Now, if you say, number 1, that nervous system are group of specialized cells that perform the function of receiving stimuli, what's the next thing? The next thing is transduction. What do I call it?
Transduction.
Pronounce this on the board.
Transduction.
Now, transduction is a process of conversion, or the process of converting. Now, let me explain this receivable stimuli. Stimuli is just right after the stimuli, put a preamble, something like this, and they say the stimuli are received by the receptor. That's okay for this guy. Now, the transduction is simply a conversion of the stimuli to electrical impulse. To what now?
Electrical impulse.
Alright. So transduction is simply the conversion of that stimuli to electrical
Impulse.
Now the final thing that happens, the first function, what's the first function?
Receive stimuli.
What's the second function?
Transduction.
Now, the third one is transmission. What's the third one?
Transmission.
Transmission is now the irritability, the response from the effector gland. From the where? Now, the effector cell, why you call it effector cell is that it can be muscles, it can be gland, it can be hormones. And the gland we have pituitary gland found over here, hypothalamus and thalamus, the adrenal, the pancreas, and the gonad. Are you there?
Yes.
Alright. Now the next thing to do is that we're going to see the difference between the hormones, the endocrine system, and the nervous system. That's the next concept. What's the difference between the endocrine system and the nervous system? Please draw a table. Draw a what?
Table.
Draw a table. Now demarcate that table just like this. Okay? So I call this endocrine system, and I call this nervous system. Do like that. Draw a table. EX, endocrine system, and then NS, nervous system. So, what's the first thing? The first thing there is that the impulse, the message, the impulse is being carried by, is being carried by electrical impulse. The message, what's the message? The touch, the gentle touch is carried by what? Electrical impulse. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Now, but the message here is being carried by the hormone. By the what now?
Hormone.
Now you can see that the electrical impulse is what carries the message in the, I'm putting up the two. Let's change this. This is endocrine system. This is nervous system. Are you there? Understand? Now the nervous system, the impulse is carried by, the message is carried by the electrical impulse. The message is carried in the endocrine system or endocrine gland by the what? Hormones. Is that clear now?
Yes.
Alright. Now the response here is slow. Here is slow. And the response here is fast. Now, for instance, if you are growing up, there is a particular hormone responsible for growth, which is called somatotropin. Let me write it down. somatotropin now, or this growth hormone released from the pituitary gland. Now, this growth hormone, the response or the process of growth, you are not born today and you grow tomorrow. No, you grow gradually. It takes a long period of time. That means that the response is slow. Now, but for the nervous system, the response is fast. You bring out your hand and just tap yourself a little. Tap yourself a little. You see that now? Now, you see that the response is fast. You can feel the pain of the tap you gave to yourself. Are you there? Now, that is a fast response. And meanwhile, the next thing to look at is that in this nervous system, the quantity, let me use the one you know, the quantity of the impulse, it is quantity independent. That is, it is quantity independent. Are you still there now?
Yes.
Let me use the word you know. This is quantity what?
It's
Independent. But this other guy that is at the side is quantity independent. That means that if the quantity is too much or too little, it's going to cause metabolic disorder. For instance, I told all of you in the last class that if someone have an excess secretion of or a hyper testosterone hormone. Who's testosterone?
Yes.
Okay, the hormone that is found in the male gonad. If someone has a high testosterone hormone, it will lead to excessive seeking for sexual desires and sexual expression and sexual pleasure because there's a high testosterone. Are you there now? So if there's a low testosterone, which I'm praying for so many of you, because some of you are doing something. So if there's a low testosterone, it means that the person will not have desire for sexual pleasure. Now, it is quantity independent. It doesn't depend on quantity. It is quantity what?
Independent.
Independent. Now, but this guy is quantity dependent. It is what?
Quantity dependent.
Alright. Now, meanwhile, let's continue. The next thing is that this guy is controlled by the spinal cord. By the way,
Spinal cord.
Spinal cord. Spinal cord and the brain. Spinal cord and the brain. This guy is controlled by the pituitary gland. Alright?
Yes.
This guy is controlled by the pituitary gland. Now finally, the nervous system is sent to the glands and the muscles. It's sent to where?
The gland and the muscles.
That's down here. Then this one, the endocrine system, is sent to targeted glands. Targeted what? Glands. Now we're going to draw the summary, the tree of the nervous system. So the tree of the nervous system.
The tree of the nervous
Let's see
system.
the tree of the nervous system. We're going to look at that, and then we'll see how much time we still have left for class, and then we'll know what to do with that.
Yes.
Right? And fill up the board because we need a large space